feel great. I guess I've lost probably about 30 pounds since my first call. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm wearing smaller clothes. I just had to buy new clothes to go on this trip. And I think some of like my jeans are probably smaller than they were in high school.
All right, everybody. I am super excited to introduce you to one of our amazing strong moms, Teresa. I get the luxury, I guess you could say, of hearing the most amazing things. I feel like in the morning and afternoon when we have our team meetings, we get our wins and you come up often, which obviously, you're sitting here. Our coaches were like, she's got to hop on. So anyways, if you can give everybody a quick background spiel, that'd be great.
Sure. So I'm Teresa. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I am 38 now, just had a birthday. And I've been married to my amazing husband for about 8.5 years. We have 3 kids, a 6-year-old son, and then 2 girls who are about to turn 4 and 2. I work as a full-time physician, doing hospital-based medicine for both adults and children. And at the time I started the program was transitioning into like some administrative work in addition to my clinical work. So things have changed a little bit from that standpoint. And yeah, I'm now just through with the 16-week program and starting Diamond Club.
Dig it. I know, I'm super stoked. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Where were you in life where you were looking to make some type of change? If you can just paint that picture, Sure. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I kind of realized I think I was having what's a midlife crisis. And it sounds like such a silly term, but I think the reason that it exists is because it's an actual thing. So I just had reached a point where I felt like I was just existing in my life. I was spending my time either working or with my kids, but never feeling like I was fully there with them, and never really fully engaged, and just felt like I was existing and not living. And I didn't know who I was anymore and how I got there. And I think one of the most kind of visceral stories I can tell is that I went on a weekend with my husband. We went away to a cabin in Georgia. It was amazing. It was the first time we had done that since probably a year or so before COVID. It had been years since we had taken a weekend away to ourselves without kids involved. And it was wonderful. We talked about goals and intentions for our family and ourselves, and came home feeling really energized. And the minute I walked into my house, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I legitimately felt suffocated. And it took, I thought I was going to come back rejuvenated, ready to like be this mom that I wanted to be, recharged. And within seconds, my kids were back on my nerves. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I was like, what is this? I was like, do I need to move out of the city and be somewhere in the mountains? Was that the difference? Or what, why is it that my life just feels like it's suffocating me? And, and in all these wonderful conversations my husband and I had about what we were going to do with our family and these new intentions and how we were going to make this new year happen. Like it seemed always happened with me. I had all these great intentions, but no plan of action to follow them up. And so all of that just sort of drifted away, and we quickly got back into just normal life, normal routine, and all the same old shit, basically. And so I was mindlessly scrolling Facebook one day, like I happened to do a lot, especially when I was with my kids watching them play, and came across Strong Mom and decided to click on it and look into it, then decided to join the open group and watched a few of your videos, looked at it a little bit more, and just kind of on a whim was like, I don't know really what this is. I don't know if it's real. I don't know. But the mindset portion of it really stuck with me. I'm a very introspective person. I was a psych major. Like I'm just very into that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is what seems different about this. Like I can hire a nutritionist, I can hire a personal trainer. I'd had success with other workout programs in the past, though the one I was doing, I was not continuing to have success with. but that portion seemed different, and it seemed like something that I really needed, because I was back at a point of saying, do I need to be in therapy? Do I need to go talk to somebody? And trying to work out. I've had a bout of depression previously as a younger person. And so it was sort of back in that space of, where am I and sort of what route do I need to go? And so I had my call with Holly. We talked, I think, for 2 hours instead of an hour. And yeah, it was just really, really incredible. She was really encouraging, even though I felt like I had kind of lofty goals for myself. She was like, we can do this. We can do this in 16 weeks. And I was like, I don't know that you actually can, but okay. And yeah, and just jumped in, and it's been incredible.
Can I just say, again, this is why I love these conversations, because I never know what moms are going to say. So for everyone watching, there's no script. There is no, I jump on. I personally, and I know a ton of people watching can relate to the feeling of getting away, being, having that intentional time, and then coming back and just being like, suffocating is a perfect word. I've never really thought of it that way, but you just come in and it's just like, and it's like, wait a minute, I was just so excited. So I just want to say thank you for sharing, because I had goosebumps. And for those that don't know, I went back and played softball way back in 2016. And I remember thinking like, oh, this, I have clarity now, and I miss my family and I can't wait to get back. And then I actually went into a deeper depression after I got home, and all of the things I wanted to do, I ended up home, and then everything just went boom. And so I just wanted to say thank you for sharing, because I know I personally can relate.
Yeah.
Almost to a T as you were speaking. And clearly when you say that you're, I'm not surprised you're a psych major, but just that you even went on a trip with your hubby to think about these things obviously shows that you're a growth-minded person, which probably is very helpful to the amazing results that you've got.
Yeah, I think, I think so much of where I was at was that, and this is probably true of my whole life. Like, I'm somebody who's very good. Even when I was in therapy before, that people would be like, oh my gosh, like, you've thought about this so much. They were just like really impressed by the insight I had into my own issues. But I was like, yeah, no, I can do that. I just can't do anything about it. That's what I need you for. And I think that's always where I've been, is somebody who could think really well about something, but it was the turning those intention into action that was a really hard, moving from that place to a place of effective action was very difficult for me. And I think as a kid, I was one of those, I'm like the quintessential perfectionist. I was also the kind of person that I looked for approval from other people. Thankfully, not necessarily my peers, but from adult people, my parents, teachers, other adults in my life. And so that was where I sort of found, if there wasn't going to be that sort of external reward from one of these adults in my life, then I wasn't really that interested in it. And so I think as I transitioned into adulthood, where those people don't really exist in the same way, it was like, well, I've always made decisions for these other people. So I don't even know if I know who I am or what I want, or how to listen to that voice in me that says like, this is the direction that I should be going, or this is what I should be doing. And I think that's where the mindset work has been really helpful, to just sort of stop and say, who do I think I am at the core? Or who do I want? If I don't know, who do I want to be? I have the ability to be whoever I want to be. And so really taking that step back and trying to find that voice inside of me, regardless of what's happening around me, has been still a work in progress, but it's been really helpful.
We will be forever. Humans are works in progress who mistakenly think they're finished. That is just constantly hitting me always, because I'm constantly working, and I'll have bad days and I'm like, oh, I've done so much work. I can't believe of course I'm human. But I love these conversations so much. You're the perfect example of, we need our head in the clouds, but a foot on the ground, right? Sometimes people have only feet on the ground and it's do, and they don't look up to think about, where can I go? And then there's a lot of times we have head in the clouds. Like, we have these great intentions, we have these ideas of where we want to go, but we don't know how to get there. And so that it's just a perfect example
or don't want to take the risk to do it. And I think that, this sort of like perfectionist mentality, I clearly have told lots of people, I'm like, if I didn't have a reasonable idea that I could be successful, I wasn't going to even try. And it's when I see those tendencies in my kids, it triggers me so badly, because I'm like, no, I don't want you to miss out on all the things that I missed out on, because I was too afraid to fail. And I was too afraid of what people were going to think about me if I didn't live up to this perfect person that I presumed that everyone thought that I was, but really it was just me projecting onto them. And so, I mean, I think there was a lot of fear of that failure, fear of taking those risks. And so that's something I'm really trying to work on, not letting it hold me back, because I don't want to look back at more life and say what could have been, or what would have happened if I had done X, Y, or Z. So.
Oh, it's so good. All right. Give everybody a snippet into how you're feeling today.
Yeah, I feel great. Let's see, I guess I've lost probably about 30 pounds since my first call. A little bit less than that since I actually started, because we all start, getting on the right track right before it's time to start anyway. The nutrition plan is so easy to follow. It's become so much of my routine. I know now, even when I deviate from it, like my body, I was telling my husband, I just finished a stretch of 4 nights of work. The last night I was so tired, I was so stressed. And so went back into old habits of going and buying snack food and trying to keep myself awake and trying to emotionally feed myself with food. We still slip off from time to time, but then I came home and walked, and I felt physically terrible. And I was like, my body doesn't want this. And so I've noticed that from pretty early in the program, that when I was concentrating on feeding myself well, that when I didn't feed myself well, I got that feedback physically that this just isn't what I want. And just got back from a trip where I, just sort of let myself eat what I wanted, and felt fine with, it was just kind of cognizant of portions and things like that. But I was excited to come home and be like, I can have my foods again and my routine. And so that part has been really great. The exercises have been super effective. I just physically feel strong. I feel comfortable in my body. And I've been so happy with how quickly results happened when they didn't happen other places, doing other exercise programs. This one has been very quickly, noticing both physical changes and then strength increasing, things changing that I didn't, my core getting stronger without really feeling like I was working my core, just lots of little things like that. I mean, I think I'm wearing smaller clothes. I just had to buy new clothes to go on this trip. And I think some of my jeans are probably smaller than they were in high school. I'm having a bit of body dysmorphia, being there's no way that that's the actual size pants that I need to be in. Cause that just doesn't make sense to me. So still trying to come to terms with exactly how good I look. I think my brain is having a hard time catching up to my body, but yeah. And then the mindset stuff, I've already talked about, has just been awesome. And I feel like that is the place that now I'm looking to maintain where I'm at physically, and really want to delve super deep into that. And I now recognize that I had to be here for myself to be able to really work there. So I've said I'm physically 100% where I want to be, have met pretty much, there's still things to work on, but pretty much met my goals. But now I'm still yelling at my kids. I still, need more connection with my husband. And so now, but now I feel like I have the roots for myself. I know how to take care of me, and I know what I need to feed me. And so I can start moving on to how that impacts the other people.
Yeah. It's the best. It's what we tell moms, especially who stay on with us after the initial 16 weeks, is now we get to bring everybody else into it, because sitting there and talking about, we talk about communication and we talk about the things that matter. But at the end of the day, if we are not steady and have a good foundation, trying to expect a conversation between us and somebody else, that's a pretty high expectation, which doesn't really set us up for success. And so I'm super excited that you're staying, and we're going to do some challenges, and we're going to dive into different areas that do involve other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad you love the mindset part. We own an in-person gym as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I will work out forever. I love working out. I love our gym. I love eating healthy because same thing as you. Every once in a while, I'll go rogue and have my Swedish fish, and all of a sudden I'll get hot, and then I'll just feel really bad. And I'm like, why did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
But it does those feelings of going, oh yeah, I wanted it for that 1 second, but now I wish I didn't have it. But really at the end of the day, what I get so excited to hear is our moms talking about their life and the way they, are trying to show up differently. And then, oh yeah, we do lose weight because at the end of the day, if we can make better decisions with less stress, we're going to make better decisions. And that's with our kids. It's also with food. It's also with, instead of grabbing a glass of wine, go for a walk,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just that in itself, people will think it's really hard to change the way we eat to say lose body fat. And I'm like, well, if you don't even worry about what you're tracking and instead of having wine, you go for a walk, that's like a lifestyle swap that is so good for you mentally. And it also, benefits that part.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, there's something to be said for a period of time, eliminating a certain amount of things and giving your body a chance to reset. But I have become so much more, now that I'm so much more aware of how certain things make me feel. Like I come from a culture where alcohol is a big part of it. And so my family gets together and they drink, my friends get together and they drink. And so often now if I'm with them, I'm like, am I drinking because I want to drink, or am I drinking because I just want to be part of the group? And so I went on a big family vacation and everybody was drinking by the pool. And I was like, I took a sip one time. I was like, it just makes me feel bad. And I don't want it. And I know that nobody cares if I have it, and I'm not doing it because I, need to lose this amount of weight. It's just like, it physically doesn't make me feel good. And when I physically feel like I can handle it, fine. But I don't have to do it. And so I'm much more in touch with those little signals about what's really driving the craving or what's driving the behavior. And I think a lot of that comes from the mindset work too, that, we're not only in touch with ourselves mentally and emotionally, but in touch with the messages that our body is sending too.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, and I'll wrap it up. I know we're getting there. I love that you said that though, because we tell moms all the time, the goal isn't to say you're never going to have the wine, or it's the goal though, is for you to say, yes, I'm choosing, I would like to have this, and feel just completely in control. And there are times where I'm like, and I don't drink, but when I say that, every 6 months or so, if we're celebrating, I'll have a glass of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm choosing that. It's not like I'm doing it because other people are choosing it for me, or I'm doing it mindlessly that it's become such a habit that I don't know that I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that we get to the point of food freedom. And if you want to have that glass of wine, or you want to go eat, of course you're going to, not of course, but if you want to have that cupcake at your kid's birthday cake, awesome. The only thing we care about is you're like, yes, I'm choosing to have this. I'm happy about it, right? There's no reason of shame or anything with food. Happy about it. And I know that I'm going to cut it off, and tomorrow's going to be a great day, and we go on with our life. And so we get to enjoy and indulge when we want to. The kicker is that we're making those decisions and we're confident in making them. So thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Last thing, and then I'll let you go. We have a lot of moms, and we're going to have a lot of moms who watch your video. If they were on the fence, what would you say to a mom who's on the fence?
Yeah. So, I would just say, invest in yourself, and give yourself the freedom to do that. I think, unfortunately, I've been talking to other friends that are moms about this, that there's this idea that the quintessential mom is the one who is completely selfless and never does anything for herself. And that's a narrative that we really need to change, because we can't, as y'all say, we can't fill other people's cups from an empty cup of our own. And so I would just say, take a chance. It's real. It works if you do the work. And there's so much in it for you physically, mentally, emotionally. And it's just worth a shot. It's hard work that is simple to do because you have the support that you need. You have an amazing community, And it's worth the investment in yourself.